Hello and welcome back to Sprite Guard Plays HyperRogue. We have acquired a lot of the things that we need in order to take on the giant ivy in the clearing. We still have a couple of things that might be really useful. One is the Orb of Space, which could let us pick mutant fruits from a distance, so we wouldn't have to hack our way into them. That would be, I think, a really big help, but it would take a lot more to be able to get that, because we would have to get the Orb of Ether from the vineyard, and we'd go with the Orb of Ether, and the Orb of the Dragon is what we would want to bring with us into the Red Rock Valley in order to be, have the best chance to get everything that we need without getting cornered, because the Red Rock Valley is one of the areas that I find the most difficult. And so I want to really be prepared going into that. But for now, I think what I want to do is see if we can find ourselves a clearing. And I just want to kind of see if we can take it on. Now, we're missing a couple of things that we would need to really take it on. One is the Orb of Time. The other is the Orb of... what was it? I remember we wanted to get the Orb of Time and the Orb, I think, of Flash and the Dragon. So there's a lot of stuff that we would really prefer to have before we go in. But because we're in the Crossroads Type 2, we kind of have less available to us than we might otherwise. Orb of Teleport, one of the most useful orbs in the game, just from pure survivability. And just really nice to have that, carry it around, and then just not use it. So we have Mutant Ivy chasing after us here. That's going to make us use up our Orb of Flash. And let's see, a Storm Troll coming out of the Land of Storms. So there's a lot of things coming after us. I think the thing to do is actually we really want to find our way to a Crossroads Type 1. We'll have a lot more room to navigate, and we will have a lot more opportunity to find orbs. And that Orb of Safety will get us out of the way of that Mutant Ivy, and so now we are just on the lookout for a Crossroads. I don't believe we have any Royal Jelly yet. I think that is something that we could start collecting if we wanted to. There's not a huge reason to do so just yet. It would probably be something that we would want to do a little bit later, but that is an option that is available to us. And I am just not seeing the Crossroads. Ah, there's one. I also, I had a couple of people point out to me that I missed a lot of treasures in the Caribbean. We may need to go back to the Caribbean, depending on how things go in this run. We may end up wanting to go back into the Caribbean and get 25 Orbs of Time to make that a little bit easier for ourselves. But for now, whoops, we killed our friend, unfortunately. Accidentally triggered my Orb of Storms. So we're on the lookout for an overgrown woods. And I have just become thoroughly distracted. So we're going to go to an overgrown woods, and we're going to see if we can get the orbs we need into it. And if not... if we're just not finding what we need, in that case, we will go back into the Caribbean and get the 25 Orbs of Time, and we'll go we'll go on the hunt for the stuff that we need from the Red Rock Valley that I mentioned. So we have to first go to the... Let's see. I am really kind of foggy today. I'm really sorry. So the vineyard. We need to go to the vineyard and burn it down with an orb of the dragon, and find ourselves the orb of ether. Then with the orb of ether, we need to go into the Red Rock Valley and get the orb of space. And that, along with the orb of time, will be a lot more powerful going into the overgrown woods. But for now, let's just see if we can find some of the stuff that will be useful. We have an orb of time. It will preserve itself fairly well, not extraordinarily well. It will tick down, and we're actually getting into some trouble. It's going to be a little bit tricky to kind of fight this down, and I'm not entirely sure it will be worthwhile. We have a lot of stuff coming from other lands after us. We can actually use this troll here to block that off. And we actually have another Orb of Time, so we can refresh the charge on that. Orb of Empathy is not very useful to us. It might be nice to have some tame bomber birds going in, or some other allies. Did we get... Yes, we have gold, so we should be able to get golems. Does the Orb of Luck help with... let's see. Orbs of Safety are more likely to spawn in the Whirlpool. Let's see. Lands where you have already collected less treasure. More likely to spawn. Okay, so not going to help us out that much. I can try the Orb of Flash. Oh no, we're not even going to keep that for very long. So we still need to find an Orb of the Dragon, or something that's going to help us out with taking on the clearing. And we may have to hunt for quite a while before we find that, and we may... we will very likely run out of time before that happens. Let's see, we have a mutant ivy coming out of there that's going to make things a little bit tricky. And we're definitely going to run out of our Orb of Time. But that's alright. We have now a bomber bird. Should be able to help us out with these mutant ivies. Though it might get distracted. That is a concern. It looks like it's getting very distracted by the mutant ivy. So I want to kind of dive in here, take a look. There is an Orb of Flash over there we can get. And there's a clearing, so... but we have to use the Orb of Flash to break into the clearing, unfortunately. But we can use that as effectively as possible. Though this has actually created a little bit of trouble for us. So our bomber bird has already been killed and started quite a lot of fires. I don't think that's especially useful to us because the ivies don't burn. So the first thing that I want to do in this clearing is create a kind of a pressure valve. And I think this one will do once this troll gets up to us. This is not ideal. This is not exactly what I want, but I think we can make it work. I'm not really happy about this. I think I want to go someplace else because we have these two ivies coming from different directions. And I'm not feeling comfortable with that. So we're going to kind of go around here and see if we can create a safe spot. And once again, we can't quite plug all of the leaks. And so we're going to have to just kind of walk away from it, see if we can find a different place. Basically what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to find a place where I can enter the clearing through a single gap and have the giant ivy be the only ivy that I'm battling, the one in the clearing. Because I really don't want to have two mutant ivies at the same time. And then we can just hack this down. I think we have exactly what I described. We have a little pressure valve here, and we should be able to fight our way in here and hopefully get to some of these fruits. And we just have to be a little bit careful not to cut off every single avenue. Okay, we're in a little bit of trouble now, but the hexagon rule actually ended up saving us there. And we are really getting surrounded. The trolls are actually more of a problem than I expected. That unfortunately destroyed that mutant fruit. And I don't think we can grab this one and still escape. And these are just going to keep branching and branching. And they're quite difficult to take on. And I'm not quite doing enough look ahead. Alright, so this should be a safe spot. They can't get to us here. But we only have 16 turns to kind of cut in and try and make some progress. And then they will restart. And it's very difficult to manage the branching. Maybe if I was kind of feeling less foggy, less out of it, I could do this more effectively. But I'm feeling like it's so difficult to make any progress. And I think what I need to do is I need to step back and I need to really think about what it is that I'm doing. And think about how am I going to make some real progress. So we can get up to this node in just a few steps. And it looks like we have a 3 there. So in the time that it takes for that 3 to go off, we can get to here. And then we just want to cut that and just... I think we want to cut green ones. I think we want to cut them as they're growing, but I'm not sure. I think that as we cut these red ones, we're just going to kind of have the same problem over and over again. And once again, we're kind of surrounded by trolls here, and that's game over. Alright, well, it had to end at some point. The clearing is still a great big challenge for us to take on. Boy, 306, so that was about 5 hours of gameplay. And we had still not even done everything that I wanted to do. We still have to save the princess once again, or the prince rather, and get the achievement for that, and the Orb of Love. And we still have to take on the Clearing and the Mutant Ivy. And those are going to be some really big challenges, and I hope that I will be a little bit more alert the next time we go into this. It's because of the nature of the game, because there's only one save file, and there's kind of no undo. You kind of have to, I at least have to go into it however I am when I want to record. That's how I go into it, and so if I'm a little bit foggy, I just have to take it on and hope that I manage, and today was not able to do that. But next week we will start all over again with Series 23, and we will have to decide what we want to do then. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.